Hey team, what's going on? It's Wednesday, happy hump day. I wanted to share with you guys basically the notes that I was going to share or planning to share on our team call on Monday. And I understand that everybody was busy and couldn't hop on live, so I wanted to just do this video um, so that you can watch it at your leisure. I totally get that summertime is really busy and everybody's schedules shift and change. And that's actually something I wanted to talk about with you guys because I don't have kids. I'm not off for the summer, but my schedule has drastically changed in the last few months. And I had two options, okay? I had the option of sugarcoating everything and presenting myself, I guess, in like the best light possible, or I had the option of being honest and telling you guys like the real deal, like what it's really been like, and owning it myself. And I decided to take the second road because I want you all to be ready for when this happens to you, because it will. And I can't wait until I know there's people on the team that really want to quit their full-time jobs, and I don't want you to have any shocks when you do. It's not all roses. There's an adjustment period, just like with anything, right? I was expecting it because I had talked to other people who'd been through it too. So I was totally expecting this, but here we are today. It happens to be my second full month since I quit my job, and I've been having a few little struggles. And so I wanted to just tell you what I've done in this last couple weeks to pull myself out of the funk that I kind of got in, and just really like understand what was happening in my mind and in my head, and be able to move forward, because this is my business and this is my full-time job. I burned the boats. So if you watched the video I posted yesterday by Tony Robbins about being resourceful, and he says like burn the boats, I burned the boats 2 months ago. Today was my last day of my full-time job. So succeed or die, I want to succeed, and I want to along the way help you guys as much as I can. So I wanted to tell you what I've been doing the last couple months, and that is really last couple weeks, I went back to the basics. And I know we hear it a lot from like on the National Wake Up Call and other places. They're like, go back to the basics. You just gotta, like, when you find yourself floundering or you find yourself like stumbling around or you feel like what the heck am I doing, go back to the basics. And it's so true. And so I started thinking about like, well, what have I not been doing, or what have I been doing differently than what I did when I was working? And it really hit me, and I'm totally owning this, you guys. I'm owning it. So what hit me was that my personal development had totally tanked. And I know why. It's because my routine before was very much time driven, and I would do all of my personal development when I was in the car. So on my way to work, on my way home from work, I was filling my mind with personal development and positive thoughts and all of that stuff. And now when I'm at home, I'm not in the car anymore. And so my routine was just completely jacked up and thrown off as far as personal development goes. So I haven't been doing it. Okay, I'm just being honest. And so here I am sitting there going, oh my God, I feel like I'm in a funk, like what the heck, like I'm having a hard time coming up with good content to post on my Facebook page, like what is going on? And then it hit me, well, duh, Mary, you're having a hard time coming up with positive, encouraging, and all of that, cool things you want to post on your Facebook page because you haven't been filling your mind with those things. You've been like preoccupied with other things, and you got out of your routine and you haven't been doing it. And so same with like signing up coaches and hitting Success Club. Last month I hit Success Club, but barely. And I don't like that. I don't want to feel like I'm barely squeaking by, and it was because I stopped inviting. Like I was struggling with my inviting. So, personal development I know is the third vital behavior, but it really, in my mind, should be the first vital behavior, because when you're working on your personal development and you're doing personal development, the inviting and the being proof the products work, they're easier. It's easier to invite people when your mind is in a positive place, and it's easier to be a product of the product and actually do the programs when your mind is in a positive place. So I just wanted to, like, number one, own it up to you guys, because this is our team and I want to be accountable to you just like I want you to be accountable to me, and we should all be, accountable to each other. That's what the team's all about. And then secondly, because I want to help you, and maybe, as I've been talking, you've been thinking about, like, yeah, well, I've been in a funk lately too, and yeah, my personal development has been like, I haven't been doing it. Well, maybe that's where you should start, right? I know it is with me. Like, when my personal development tanks, everything else seems to tank along with it. So I'm back, and I'm going to have to figure out how to work it in and get it into that routine. Today, I listened to an hour of personal development before I did anything else, including my workout. Okay, before I ate, before I did anything. I woke up, I got dressed, I turned on my personal development, okay? And it has made an incredible difference in just one day of getting back to that. So I wanted to just share that with you guys. So if you find that the vital behaviors are hard for you, and maybe, it's like, oh, personal development, like, I know I really should be doing it, but I'm not just really, I'm just not into that, or whatever. Inviting, like, oh, I know I should be doing that, but, I just don't like it, or I don't want to do it, or, I'm scared to do it, whatever, like those negative mindsets. Like, listen to the voices in your head, like when you sit down to do your power hour. Like, what are those voices saying? Are they positive? Are they negative? Are they, where are they at? Because it's really important that you approach your vital behaviors with a positive mindset. The truth is that we won't do the things that we don't enjoy, right? So I know I've talked about this principle so many times, and in just about every training course that we do within our team, I bring this up because I feel like it's so important. But we have to train ourselves to love what we used to hate. And maybe hate's a strong word, okay? Maybe you're thinking, well, I don't hate inviting, but it's just not my top, list of enjoyable things to do. Whatever, okay? Like, insert your own word there, but you have to learn to love it. And the way you learn to love it is by loving the results that you get from it. So, say personal development is just not really on my top list of priorities, okay? Well, how do I learn to love personal development? How do I learn to crave it? How did I, Mary, learn how to crave personal development? It was by doing it and linking the results of my personal development, which was a better attitude, much easier to post on my Facebook page. I had more knowledge and inspiration when I was talking to somebody about a challenge group or about coaching. Like, when people bring up objections, it's easier to respond to them because you've been filling your mind with positive thinking and positive thoughts. And so when I take the results of the personal development, and I look at it as, well, what came first, the chicken or the egg, right? Well, in this case, we know personal development came first, and then my positive attitude came second. I love my positive attitude. My husband loves my positive attitude, right? Like, Facebook loves my positive attitude. So when I look at that, it makes me love personal development and crave personal development. And it's the same with working out. It's the same with inviting. For me, inviting is definitely not as enjoyable for me as working out, okay? But how do I learn and how do I teach myself to love inviting somebody to become a coach? It's because I absolutely love getting a new coach started. That is like one of my, like, the best things ever, to see them, get their first challenge pack sale, or maybe get that first message from a customer saying, like, oh my God, thank you so much for helping me. You have no idea, you've changed my life. And they tell me, Mary, this person just sent me this message. That, like, puts me, I'm not even the one that got the message, but that puts me on cloud 9, because I'm like, oh my God, I had a part of that. I had a hand in that person. I've never even met them, but I had a hand in that transformation, right? And seeing them, getting to the point where they're paying bills and they're earning enough money to cover their Shakeology, or they're signing up coaches and their coaches are starting to do well. That is a big high for me. Well, I know that I'm only going to get that if I invite, right? So I've learned to love to invite people because I want the high, right? I want that natural high that comes with getting a new coach and when they're excited and they're just pumped up and fired up. So that's how you learn. You can learn and train yourself to love what you used to hate or not enjoy. So just looking through my notes here real quick. Another thing I wanted to mention is sometimes I think when we look at inviting as a behavior, a vital behavior, we look at it like it's all this pressure, like, oh, I got to go out there and I got to be this salesperson. I got to go out there and I've got to like push, and I have to really like, force people or force myself on people. And so I want to just try to inject a little bit of a different approach to inviting. And that is, don't look at it like I'm going to go sell this person. Okay. Look at it like I'm going to attract people to me and I'm going to engage them in conversation and I'm going to get to know them and who they are, because that's really what inviting is all about. If you are skipping those three things before you don't do those things and you jump straight to inviting, you skip the attracting, the connecting, the engaging, and conversation, and then you just go straight to inviting, chances are you're not going to get very good results. I'm just being honest. This is a crock-pot business. It's not a fast food business, okay? Unless you're just this crackerjack salesperson, you're not going to do very well. Now, if you are a crackerjack salesperson, and I've seen this happen, so trust me on this. Say you're an amazing salesperson. You could sell sand to Arabs, okay? You're going to have a harder time connecting with people. What does that mean? Well, who cares? I'm selling all these challenge packs. You're not going to ever grow your team of coaches because you're going to sell a challenge pack and that person's going to get it and they're going to move on and they're never going to talk to you again because there's no connection, right? So regardless of whether you're good at sales or you're not good at sales, you have to learn how to attract, engage in conversation before you invite. It's important. It's very important. And if it means turning on the crock pot, that's what it means. Get out of the fast food drive-through, turn on the crock pot, and put the time into it that it requires to build a strong relationship and to get to know people. The truth is that I want a strong team. I want a lot of coaches on my team, all right? But I don't want just anyone on my team. I don't. Trust me, I do not. And I've had this conversation. Those of you who know me, my sister KK sells LuLaRoe. Okay, so it's a different multi-level marketing company. But she and I had this conversation, and we were talking about a certain person, and I told her, like, I would never want that person on my team because we have there's reasons why I don't want that person on my team. And my sister and I share those reasons. And she said to me, well, if she makes me money, she makes me money. And I told her, no, it's about so much more than that. Because if she's on my team, now I have to pay attention to her. I have to interact with her. I have to talk to her. I have to be cordial and friendly and nice and reach out and go the extra mile for her. If it's somebody you don't like, don't trust, maybe somebody who stabbed you in the back, send them on their merry way. All right, guys? Like, I'm just being real. We have to grow a team of people who know, like, and trust us and who we know, like, and trust. And the only way you get there is by attracting, engaging, and connecting first, okay? And trust me, if you get someone on your team who you don't know, like, and trust, and they don't know, like, and trust you, chances are they're not going to be on your team for very long. And if they are, a lot of times they're just going to cause problems. I've been doing this for 4 years and I've seen it happen. And you just don't want that. So I don't know where that came from because that was not in my notes. But take it for whatever it's worth. So how do we attract? Engage in meaningful conversations with people, okay? Use social media to share your story. And I've said this before, I know in other trainings, but to me, everything is inviting. Everything is inviting. So if you struggle with inviting, again, you've got to um, change your perception of what it means. To me, when I go on and I share my story about domestic violence, about my infertility struggle, about my miscarriage, about my weight loss, about me, who I am as a person, about what happened to me today, about my workout, about Shakeology, about whatever it is that I'm posting on Facebook, that is an invitation. It's an invitation for someone to get to know me. And if I want somebody to know, like, and trust me, that's how I get them to know, like, and trust me. I have to share who I am, and I have to be consistent about it, okay? So once you figure out, okay, this is the person I am, this is who I am, be consistent in that, all right? So for instance, there's, I've seen memes before posted on Facebook that I cracked up, you guys. Like, I mean, just laughed and laughed and laughed because it was freaking hilarious. But I would never share it. I would not post it on my page. I wouldn't post it on my personal page. I wouldn't post it in my challenge group. Why? Because it does not line up with who I am as a person, and it doesn't line up with my morals. It doesn't line up with the values I have, and it doesn't line up with who I am. So yeah, I might see something and laugh because it's funny, but it's not me, and I'm not going to share that. So be choosy, like, know who you are, know your values, know who you are as a person, and be that person. Post that, share that, because that's how you'll attract people who are like you, and that's what you want. Take the time to get to know people and who they are and their goals about fitness, health, their lifestyle goals, their financial goals, because that's how you'll be able to marry coaching as a business with them as a person, is when you know them and you've taken the time to get to know them. Okay, so everything is inviting. Next, be proof the products work. This is the next vital behavior. And we're talking about, again, going back to the basics, right? Be proof the products work. Duh, right? Everybody understands this one. It makes sense. But here's the kicker. It's really hard to be proof the products work when you're not proof the products work. Okay? And again, today, you guys, I really, really hope this is coming across in the right way that I mean it to. I am speaking to you about me, honestly, okay? Honestly. And I'm sharing with you my struggles because I want to help you. And I know that if I struggle with things, that everybody else probably struggles at some point with them too. So I don't want anybody to feel like I'm like preaching at you. Like that's not the point. When I get passionate, I get loud, and I get, that's just me. But I really care about our team. I really care about each coach on the team. I want you guys to do well. I want to do well. And I want you to do well. And I really hope that that comes across. And the last couple months have been a little bit of a struggle for me. I'm just being honest, okay? But I want to, it's like, have you heard the saying, God will never waste a hurt, right? I feel like that about our personal struggles. The only way that your personal struggles and hard times and trials and things you go through is wasted is when you don't use it to better yourself and someone else. And I said and. I did say and. I mean and. If you keep it to yourself, you're really doing yourself and your neighbor a disservice, because there is so much power in the lessons we learn through our own life and through our journey. There's so much power to help someone else. And if you have the power to change somebody's life and you don't, I personally feel like I have a moral obligation to share who I am and my story, because I just feel that way. I feel like it's there. My struggle is there to help someone else. Okay. All right. So we're talking about being proof the products work. You can't be proof if you're not doing it, right? So I guess what I'm trying to say, and this for me, like, I don't struggle working out. I've been doing this now for 5 years, Beachbody programs. I love to work out. I didn't always love to work out. I hated to work out, but I taught myself how to love working out. Now I crave it and I love it. My struggle, when I struggle, is with nutrition, okay? Just, again, being honest. I like cheese. I like carbs. I like chips. I like burgers. I like all of that crap that everybody else likes, all right? There are a few things in my life I've given up completely and I have no desire for again ever. I'm good. Never ever having it again. Like soda, like white sugar, like cereal, sugary cereals, those types of things. But there are other things that I love, and they're not necessarily things that you would think like, man, Mary, that's so bad for you, right? Because I've given up those things. Where I stumble now is the healthy things in excess. All right, so I make a cheeseburger for myself. I use grass-fed beef. It's lean beef, whole wheat bun, and cheese. All right, that's my weakness on my burgers, cheese. But I add chips to it, or I eat too much, or I'm not balancing my meal. That's my struggle, right? It's sticking to the nutrition plan. But it's really hard for me to show other people that these Beachbody programs work when I'm sabotaging all the hard work I do out there in the gym with my eating in the kitchen, right? It's impossible because everyone knows you can totally out-eat an amazing workout. And I do it all the time, okay? So I'm just being honest. Like, let's get back to the basics and get back to, like, when I first started P90X and I was just so, oh my God, like I was determined. I was so excited and passionate about it. And I followed that nutrition plan to a T, and that's how I got the results I got, right? And then I got lazy. So getting back to that, get back to that. Take a program, do it from start to finish. Don't skip around and hop around. Do the nutrition plan with it. Don't be lazy with the nutrition plan. Hello, Mary, I'm talking to myself. Don't be lazy with the nutrition plan. Literally, really, does it take that much longer to measure out your containers versus just piling crap on your plate? No, it doesn't really take that much longer, right? That these are excuses that we tell ourselves, right, to justify what we're doing. And so I'm trying to blow those out of the water right now, and I hope that this is helping someone. If anything, it's helping me because I'm being accountable to you. But what happens when we are true and we share our workouts and we share what we're doing and we're being honest and open and showing people and they can see that it works? My friends on Facebook, I've never one time had anybody tell me, oh, P90X and Shakeology don't work. Why? Because I've been very open about how well they do work. And I have pictures to prove it, right? So nobody's going to tell me that because they know it works. They might not want to do it themselves, but they know it works. So be proof. It builds credibility when you're consistent. You build credibility when you can show your before and after pictures and show the results. You build credibility within the people around you. You impact people. So like I said, regardless of whether my Aunt Sue wants to do P90X or not, she knows it works. And so when she gets to a point in her life where she says, you know, okay, I'm ready now. I'm ready to do this. Guess who she's going to turn to? Me. She's going to come to me. Because she knows I know what I'm doing. I know I've shown her that this works, right? And every time you share your story and your proof the products work, again, everything is inviting. You're inviting them with your own story. Even if you don't say at the bottom, comment below, I'm in, I have a challenge group going. Even if you don't say any of that, you'll start getting messages. And again, it's consistency, right? But you'll start getting messages from people saying like, okay, Mary, I'm ready. I've been watching you do this now for 2 years and I'm ready to do this because I know it works because I've seen what you've done with it. It's the same with your business. If you're consistent with your business and you're consistent with your business and posting about your business and what you're accomplishing with your business online, you will start getting the same thing. You'll have people messaging you saying, hey Mary, like, you know, I've seen you, what you've done with this business. I know it works because I've seen you do it. I'm ready. I'm ready to start a business. I'm ready to do this too. Okay, but it takes consistency. And we talked about personal development already. One thing about personal development I do want to point out too is that personal development is personal. And I know that sounds like hello, bright eyes, like really? But it's really true. Personal development is personal. So if I know that I struggle with following through with things, but I'm pretty darn good at, getting started. I don't deal with the fear of failure. I just get out there and get started. I probably shouldn't focus on overcoming my fear of failure, right? I should focus on where I actually struggle. So know yourself to grow yourself. Be honest with where you need improvement and where you personally, maybe you need to believe in yourself. Maybe you don't believe in yourself. Have confidence. Maybe you need to follow through and stick to it. Maybe you need some more skills as far as like reading a book like Go Pro. Maybe you need to understand your why and how to get started. Figure out where you are struggling and where you need help, and then gear your personal development toward that. All right, and then the last one is the fourth vital behavior that Beachbody has now added, which is recognition. And I think recognition is really huge. And I try on our team to do recognition, and I really feel like I don't do enough. And so I try, and I'm going to keep trying to do more. But, recognize the heck out of everything in your group. And if you have a challenge group going, if you're in our challenge, our team challenge, get in there and recognize people when you see them do something awesome. Call them out, shout them out. When you see one of your coaches, if you have a coach, when you see one of your coaches do something really cool, it doesn't have to be, oh, they sold their first challenge pack. It doesn't have to be, oh, they signed up a coach. It doesn't have to be they're a success starter. It doesn't have to be, oh, look, they hit Success Club. It can be anything that's positive, right? Maybe they're doing really great on their personal development, and you can tell because they're posting on Facebook and they're sharing what they're learning. Shout them out for it. Like, that does so much for a person when they hear, like, atta girl, you're doing a great job. You know what I mean? Like, especially if it's really sincere and coming from the heart, people appreciate that. I know I do. When somebody says, hey, Mary, like, what you did yesterday, like, you have no idea how much that helped me. Like, thank you so much for whatever. That, like, makes me feel like $1,000,000, right? That totally makes me feel like $1,000,000. So give that to people, and always be looking for ways to recognize people. All right, so the last thing I want to say is own your story. Own your story, because it's made you who you are. And every time you share it, even if it's just a little, I'm not talking about paragraphs long, telling your story in great detail, pages long. It can be one simple paragraph. Hey, like, I went through a domestic violence relationship when I was in my early 20s, and it was really sucky. And I just remember feeling, like so alone and wishing that I had someone to talk to. And that's why I'm so open about sharing who I am now and sharing my story, because I never want anybody else to feel like they don't have anyone to talk to. I'm here. Like, I'm here to talk to anyone. I don't know. Like, work it in to little things. It doesn't have to be all the gory details. It doesn't have to be all the gory details. I think that's something that scares people. Like, well, I don't want to, share, like, there's things about my story I haven't told a single soul. I've never spoken them aloud because it's too deep and it's too personal. And I probably never will, but I don't have to. I don't have to be that personal on that level. You know what I'm saying? But you have to share. You have to share, and you have to be willing to be open and to, be a little vulnerable. Maybe not bear everything to the world, but, share a little bit about what's made you you and what's made you who you are. And don't tell me you've never had a struggle, because I don't believe you. All right? All right. I think the last thing I wanted to say is two things. And this kind of goes back to getting to know people first before you invite, connecting with people. But it's really interesting how when you show interest in someone, they'll return the same favor to you, right? You ask somebody typically, hey, how are you doing? What do you get in response? Oh, I'm XYZ. How are you doing? Right? Like, you show interest first, you'll receive it in return. What you give to someone, generally you'll get back. And it's like people repeat what they see, right? And this is such a true principle. It's in the Bible. All right. The Bible says a man that has friends has to show himself friendly first, right? So if you want to have friends, if you want to attract people, get out there and show who you are. Get out there and be friendly. Get out there and hold out a helping hand, show interest in someone else, and they will be interested back. And then the last thing is consistency. All of this is wonderful. All of this is great. It's helpful. It's really, we talk about back to the basics, and I saw somewhere, I think it was Jeff Hill. I saw somebody posted something he had said in another group or something. I can't remember now where I saw this, but um, um, oh my gosh, I just totally lost my train of thought. I hate when that happens. I was going to say something Jeff Hill said. Um, all right, moving along. Consistency. So all of this is great, but unless you're consistent and you are doing this, compounding over time, daily, day in, day out, daily showing up, daily putting the work in, daily being a product of the product, daily inviting, daily sharing, daily connecting, unless you're consistent, none of this is going to go anywhere, right? It's all the important things that you need to do. Is I remember now what he was going to say. So Jeff Hill mentioned this, that when he talks to coaches, and obviously he's talking about like the superstar coaches, right? Because he doesn't, talk to people unless they're superstar diamond coaches. But he said when he talks to the ones who are struggling versus the ones who are doing really well, it's very obvious the difference and what they're focused on. The people who are struggling are just searching for that secret sauce, like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, and they're so fragmented out trying to find, the newest, the best, all the techniques and the skill and all of this stuff, that they're not focused. And so when you're diluted like that, you're going to receive in return diluted results. Whereas people who are very successful, they're very laser focused. You can't be focused enough, right? And that's why I wanted to talk about the basics, getting back to the basics, because if you really just focus on basics, I'm going to invite people, I'm going to be proof the products work, I'm going to share my story, I'm going to show recognition to people, and I'm going to work on my personal development, and I'm going to do all of those things every single day without fail, over and over and over, as many times as I can fit into the time I have to build my business. That is super laser focused, and when you're super laser focused, you get super laser focused results. Okay, so like I posted yesterday about being resourceful and not waiting to get all these special resources, but actually getting out there and being resourceful yourself. And I hope nobody took that wrong, but it's true. Like, we have to be our own. This is our business. I can't build it for you. You can't build mine for me. Like, we have to do it ourselves. That's not to say that the team isn't here to help. It's not to say I'm not here to help. I am. That's what I'm doing right now. But, you have to be your own entrepreneur, and you have to be the one getting out there and getting it done. But don't be so worried about, like, oh, I need to do all these special trainings for my team, and I need to have these special focus groups, and I need to have all this special, resources and tools ready for my team, and you're constantly chasing the next thing and the better thing, and it doesn't work. And the truth is that we already have enough resources. We already have enough tools. What we don't have enough, again, you guys, I'm speaking to myself, okay? But what we don't have enough is using what we already have. We already have all this stuff. We already have all this training. But if we're not implementing it, it just goes in one ear and out the other, and it does nobody good, right? Like, you got to implement. You have to take what we already have and use it. And I promise you, you could build an amazing business and an amazing income just on what we have in our team, our little Shine Tribe team page, file section. You can build an amazing business with a great income just on what's in there. And how do I know that? Because I have. That's what I use. That stuff that's in our Shine file section. That's what I use. Like, you don't need all this specialty stuff, okay? If you want more, go to YouTube. You can find a gazillion things. I love YouTube. I go to YouTube when I'm, struggling with things, or maybe I want a different perspective on something. So I encourage you to do that. But I'm just saying, like, our problem is not enough resources. Our problem generally is we're not using what we have, and we're not putting it into place, and we're not putting it into action. So that's what I was going to say on Monday and Monday night. And the last thing I wanted to just throw out there is, I know it's summertime. Before, when I was working full time, I really didn't have a lot of flexibility on team call scheduling. I do now. And so if the majority of the team or the people who actually hop on the calls would like to schedule them during the day, I'm totally down for that. So if you guys would like to change the time of our weekly team chat, just let me know. I know they've been a little hit or miss the last few months because my life has been upside down, and we're getting ready to close on our house. We signed papers. We were supposed to sign Friday, but I guess now it's been pushed off to next week. But so the next 2 weeks at least are going to be really hard for me too, because I'm going to be busy. I mean, you can see all my boxes already. Like this house is crazy. But I will be there Monday night or whatever day of the week you guys would rather do it. So just let me know, okay? Because I know for me, it really helps me stay focused, and it really helps me stay like in it when I get to chat with you guys. It does. It really helps me. So I'm assuming that if it helps me, it helps you too. But anyway, okay. I love you guys. I hope that please pray. I hope that that you hear what I had to say and you don't take it wrong, but you let it, help you, let it push you. I want nothing more than to be at Summit in 2017 with a gazillion of our coaches on our team and celebrating all of your successes. That's what I want. That's what I want. Like my heart's desire is to have that. And I know the only way to get there for any of us is by getting back to the basics. So I love you guys, and I am excited about this summer. I can't wait to rock the rest of the summer with you guys. And I'd love to hear any feedback you have from me. Just post it below, and I'll talk to you later. All right? Have a great one.